installed this thing.
Matter of fact, at last fire district meeting, we brought that up. And they were trying to, want to get rid of the capital replacement, and I'm like, yeah, that's
Get
not
rid of
good.
it?
Well, they wanted to drop it down because they wanted to be able to shift money to something else, and I said, no.
You pay for it.
Verbatim, what he said was, the city's finance director says you don't want to do that.
My advice to them would be is that you pay for it no matter what.
Yeah.
That's what he
Whether
said.
Even if you don't want to, eventually you will.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're police or fire.
That's what he said. He said, don't do it.
You can try to not spend the money, but you will.
He's trying to throw you in over there like, oh, I'll bring the finance director back.
If that would help, I'll do one of those things. That's not a problem.
Please proceed, thank you.
So anyway, capital maintenance and replacement, that's the heavy lifting in a budget. That's where we gain our competitive advantage, and that's what I think we'll do. Fiscal management from a staff perspective and from a council perspective is basically, we don't want our tax rate going up and down like this, right? You want, if you gotta go down, you go down slowly. If you gotta go up, you go up slowly. Double-digit increases, double-digit decreases, varying every year is not good fiscal management. All that ever does is lead any resident that opens their tax bill to be surprised. Nobody wants to do that. They don't like it. I don't like it.
I'm a little disappointed there's no graphs in here.
Oh, there are.
Oh, okay, good.
Before we get to the proposed levy, I just update the council. Since our last budget work session, we did update a few items in the general fund, and that's reflected in the budget that you have in front of you. I did change some health insurance elections for staff, just to update those more accurately. We changed the LGA amount a little bit. I think it was like $163 out of $900,000, so it's not significant, but it is a change. I moved the health insurance renewal rate down. We had been projecting 25% just to be safe. I've got information that suggests it would be closer to 7.5%, so I conservatively moved it down to 22.5% so that I know I'm not going to have anything to worry about later on. And then I tweaked the abatement payment on the hotel a little bit to better reflect what I think will actually happen with the valuations there. For 2022, general fund levy proposed at $2.15 million. Included in that, but we have to list it separately, is the abatement levy. That's the 1 to 5, fifth one down. We list it separately only because the Department of Revenue requires that. The capital maintenance levy, Fund 920, $451,000 and change. That's just exactly how we had planned previously. That amount hasn't changed. That was presented last year as well. Street levy, 425, $295,000. Again, that was exactly what we had projected from based on last year's numbers. EDA levy is at $98,000. That's a percent of the estimated market, the preliminary estimated market value. Again, that maximum amount of $98,000 and change is set by statute, actually. Total debt service, $273,150, and you see there are two debt issues that make that up, both issued in 2014. We end up with a total levy of 3.2.
What's the GO bond? Is that the one that we eliminated now?
Yeah, the 930 GO bond, we don't have any payments in 2022, so it shows up on the list simply because it has history for 2021. So next year that won't be on the list at all, but we don't need to levy any additional dollars on that. 2022 will make our final payments on that. Proposed tax rate. So, of course, we are approving a levy, but in the end, the tax rate is what I always like to talk about because a levy goes up over time no matter what. And a tax rate provides a better comparison year to year for any given household. It provides a better comparison from city to city. And what we're looking at right now is going down from our current 60.4% down to 58, well, just about 58.5%. That's a 3.17% drop. That number will change inevitably. I'm using the county's preliminary market value numbers that they submit to the state in the spring, and those will get updated before the end of the year. So that number will tweak a little bit, but as best we can plan right now, that's what we're looking at. Again, fits our fiscal management, our goals, right? No double-digit increases, no double-digit decreases. If we're going to go down, and we have been going down, we go down slow and steady. We take little steps, make it consistent, make it predictable, and make sure that residents aren't surprised on at least the city portion of their tax bill. Average tax rate for the last 15 years, 67%. And a 58 would put us nearly 13% under the average. We're heading the correct direction.
Average of our tax rate or average of?
Our city tax rate, yes. Yeah. This gives you a little perspective on the levy history.
There it is.
Again, we are technically setting the levy here right now tonight, preliminary levy, and that's as directed by state statute, but that's not something I like to spend a lot of time on. Levies are gonna go up over time no matter what, simply because of inflation. And as you have a larger population to serve, your levy's gonna go up as you have to hire more staff to provide those services. So it's super misleading if you don't have other information. So I don't like to spend too much time on the levy. I think the better number is tax rate. Tax rate gives you a much better perspective based across cities, across years, and it also helps to level the playing field when comparing cities, even if cities offer different services and different levels of services. This is a much more helpful number. Again, the last few years here, we've been meeting that fiscal management goal of, I don't want wild ups and downs. I don't want double-digit increases, double-digit decreases. If we're going down, we go down slow. If we go up, we go up slow. And we can see that in 19, 20, 21, and now proposing 22, we are taking a nice, slow, steady downward slope. To that end, and we'll go over this, it's in the budget, but we'll go over this in more detail at the December meeting. Not only do I look at the past tax rates, past levies, and understand where we are currently, but I do also run these projections out forward and account for future staffing additions, full-time positions. I think it's fair to say that we have a clear path to a 50% tax rate by 2030. Cannot guarantee that, but I think we've sufficiently mitigated risk in our budget components, and that's a very real possibility. That's a very real possibility.
So why is 2016, 2017 so high on that? He's hesitant to respond, I think. I'm just curious, I mean,
Let me just say that I started on June 5th of 2017. How about that?
good answer.
So 2018 was the first budget that I had any hands in, and to be quite honest, the budget was mostly done when I got here, which was nice to be starting in June and have a budget that's mostly complete when I got here. But we can see we've been able to reduce that tax rate history, and we can prove to council members, staff, and residents that we are fully funding our obligations. We aren't leaving any capital maintenance or replacement items untouched. We aren't leaving any capital projects untouched. We're completing road projects, and we're doing it without issuing debt, which is also another goal that the council has made very clear recently, that we do not want to issue debt that is levy dependent, which means you have to actually levy dollars and increase taxes in order to pay for that stuff.
So let me put this in English here, Mr. Becker. You're saying that we're not levying any debt, we're not raising the tax rate, but we're still getting our amenities that these residents want.
Correct.
Funny when you let somebody do their job, what can happen?
I think funny, remember that somebody was screaming about the amphitheater,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still dropping that 3 more %.
It's because we have
Wizard.
Mr. Becker
We have a wizard.
and his apprentice.
If we dot our i's and cross our t's, we can do good work. Absolutely.
The Wizard's Apprentice.
And remember that, we'll go into more detail at the December meeting, because right now, really all we're doing is just setting that preliminary levy. We can't go above it, we can go down, we can change any components of our budget that we would like. Before we approve this, I do want to highlight, before we vote on this, I should just presume we'll approve, but I do want to highlight the only other substantial change that we have in our budget is in capital improvements for the water fund. Now, the water fund is not levy dependent. What we set this levy at doesn't change this at all, but it is a significant change in the budget, and so I want to make sure that council is very clearly aware. What we did was, we had been scheduled to do new meter radios in 2022 with the associated fixed network infrastructure. came to our attention, that is not gonna work. Long story short, that's not gonna work. The other option that was given to us because of our displeasure with that outcome, the other option was is that we would be given, in 2022, we'd be giving a very discounted rate on water meters in 2022 that would match up with the 2020 pricing. So I did the math and said, okay, we were gonna do the radios in 2022 and we were gonna change out our meters in 2028. If we get really significant discounted pricing, can we instead switch to plan B, and rather than hope that our current software makes it to 2028, which we have no service and no support for, if it goes down, we don't have any guarantee of a fix at all. Can we just switch gears and can we just simply replace all of the meters in 2022, or at least buy them all, even if we can't actually switch them all out? I did the math and considered the depreciation on the remaining useful life of the existing meters, and to be honest, whether you account for price inflation in 2028 or you do it in 2022, it is a net wash. Both outcomes come to $564,000.
So it would be,
So the recommendation would be
To
approve
do
the
it.
budget as is, do it in 2022, because while it's fiscally a wash either way, the number comes out the same, we gain a lot of additional features and functionality by going to the new meters in 2022.
Mr. Becker, are these those smart meters that were put in, I thought they came in rather recently, like the last 7 to 10 years or something.
Yeah, we approved that, and the resolution was approved in 2011. Yep.
10 years
And
ago.
they're all-
changes,
well,
10 years ago.
I know, is that, so my question is that typical to replace meters every 10 years?
Normally, your range would be, a meter with moving parts becomes less accurate every single day. Only very, very slightly, but between years 13 and 16, depending on the meter, depending on the quality of the water, these types of things, between year 13 and 16, you lose enough accuracy that it is cost effective to replace them. So your normal timeline would be 13 to 16 years, and then you replace. 13 to 16 years, you replace on a meter with moving parts. What we're recommending, what we've started installing on new construction, is a solid state meter that does not have moving parts. Comes with a 20-year warranty, and you're simply set and ready to go. And the meter is simply ineffective after 20 years. Accuracy is maintained. It is simply ineffective after 20 years when the battery dies. And the meter will tell us via the fixed network radios that it will die in 6 months. So it will tell us ahead of time that it's going to die.
See, the biggest problem we had is the readers, we're not gonna get any support to operate them and read them. So
Yes,
now it's making it,
I'm very,
Obsolete.
very concerned. We've been going for 3 years now without any support on our software. And if it crashes and we cannot convince them to help us on an hourly rate, which they have no obligation to do so, except that they want maybe to keep us as a client, we are in a world of hurt.
Dog doo-doo.
We are in.
We're up the
that's a
river with no
really-
paddles.
That's a really, really, really terrible
Those are those
situation.
smart meters, right?
Yes.
What are we coming back with then? What are you coming in, is that?
These are basically the newest, best,
smart
so that we
meters?
are
they-
actually going to get functional.
are
So
they
we're,
smart-
we're
are they-
essentially going
Yeah,
10 to
it-
13 years to 20 years.
Yes, I feel like we bought toward the back end of the curve, technology curve, the last time.
Is that,
And
is it-
that's why the software didn't mesh up.
is this the same group then, smart meters again, or?
No, we were with Badger, this time we'll go with Mueller.
different manufacturer.
Yep,
Okay,
different manufacturer, but it's functionally the same. The biggest difference that staff will notice is that once we get our fixed network set up, we get these meters installed, we will no longer have to have Public Works drive around. Those reads will be fed to City Hall directly. And City Hall staff will be able to pull reports, histories, on-demand reads, whatever we'd like.
Instantly.
So-
Yeah, just like that.
so it's a internet-based type thing?
Uses cellular, or like a standard,
Radio wave, radio frequency?
yeah, how do we say that? It's not the cellular network, it is a fixed, so it's a fixed network. We're gonna have tower on the water tower, and we think 4 repeaters.
Yep.
Maybe 5, we'll have to do a propagation survey, but, and then it will talk between those devices and come to a receiver here.
Digital shoots to your
So we
home.
avoided the cellular network. That was the other option, was to use.
It's a migratable,
Yeah, yeah.
solution option.
There's a whole nother set of problems if you don't want to hop onto T-Mobile or Verizon's network and utilize that. That was less certain. How about that?
What was the word you used, migratable?
Migratable?
Migratable.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the other big issue in this, and that's, we don't have a funding problem. We were counting on spending all these dollars at one point or another in a capital improvement plan.
As you said,
we've
it's a
got-
wash.
Yeah, and we've got some federal money coming in as well, so we don't have any financial issues, even though we just changed rates and now we're tweaking this plan. It really doesn't.
I think we'd be silly not to do
Does
it.
I think we really should. I think that if we found ourselves in a year and a half without software, we would have a 12-month.
Up the creek
a
without
12-month
paddles.
It'd be a 12-month nightmare. It would be absolutely terrible.
We need to get into the new millennium of water meters.
Yep.
Obviously, we need a motion for the final budget and levy meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Resolution approving the 2022 preliminary budget for the city of Isandi. Did you do that already too, Mike? Did we do all these in one?
Well, you can do them all in one. I think we specifically listed the first, so we should then do the preliminary budget as the second
I
one.
think what he means is,
You gonna do them
are you
together?
done with it?
Oh, I don't need to say anything more. I've got one more thing on property tax, but there's not much to add except how you would,
Motion to
very
approve.
basically how you would
Second.
calculate it.
Motion to approve by Councilman Collison and second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Lastly, the resolution approving the proposed 2021 tax levy collectible in 2022 for the city of Isani.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Burgley and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you,
Are we
Mr.
all in
Becker.
agreement that we should be doing that water meter thing? I mean, I'd like to send Mr. Becker away.
Well,
knowing-
we discussed this already, and
Yeah,
but we were gonna push it out, I thought.
Yeah, we were, but as
But
he
now,
just said,
it's a wash to get it done earlier.
right.
Yeah, the
Basically,
original
so-
plan was we were gonna do the radios. And
Yeah.
now they've come back and said, no, you can't just put the radios on the meters that you have. Okay, well, after 2.5 years of research that Josie and I did, nobody mentioned that.
Yeah.
So now it's a wash to just
Do it all at once.
update them and all in 2022, all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think-
agree.
yeah, the real present value of the transition, whether it's in 2022 or 2028, is still $564,000 either way.
My point being is I'd rather him walk away from this podium right now knowing that he is gonna be doing that. in
Motion to
2020.
approve
There we
replacing
go.
the meters now.
Motion to
No, that-
approve the
that's
new
all-
meters in 2022, all of them, by
That's all
Councilman
fixed.
Lundin.
Yeah, because we will start working on getting that in place starting tomorrow.
Do I have a second?
It's not even on the agenda.
Doesn't matter, I want him to walk away knowing this so he can get on it tomorrow.
It doesn't matter?
Yeah, just by approving the budget and.
It's already done?
Yeah.
It's
We
in
already
the
approved
budget
it.
plan, so by approving the preliminary budget, it is
It
authorized.
is in
for
there.
I
action.
just wanted to,
Perfect.
I just wanted to be clear that
That was the only change.
everybody understood what is in there and that what I had changed since our last budget work session.
Okay.
I
And
was
so
so
long as
clear, I was
everybody's
trying to
okay
do
with
it twice.
As long as everyone's okay with it, we will start moving forward so that we're ready to go
We're
on
good,
January 2nd.
rock and roll.
Yep.
I just wanted to do it twice to make sure they were with me here, Mike.
I'll just listen to the boss over there. She'll tell us what to do.
She hasn't said a word all day, except for when she was called on. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Oh, wait, with item L5 and L6.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda with the addendums.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the addendums by Councilman Lundin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Collison.
Discussion.
Yes, sir?
So, what's the deal with the resigning of the liquor store manager? Is that, well, I'm just curious what the issue was. I mean, we're building a brand-new liquor store, and now we're having, was it a problem with what's going
Did you
on, or,
Did you get her
No,
email?
Councilmember Burgley, I
What?
don't,
Did you get the email?
I don't know if I got the email or not.
there
It's
was
in
an
the
email sent out letting all the council members know. but no, really, it just wasn't the best fit for him.
Okay.
And when he considered everything for him and his family needs, they decided to go a different direction.
Okay.
The liquor store project is going very well, on schedule, and is
It looks-
fantastic. I
yeah.
was out there today, it is great.
I'm out there every day, it does.
And I think Keith's been pretty much been running that since the start of it, so.
Yep, Keith Lusk has already been doing quite a bit of that new liquor store planning, so he's been very helpful in that whole process, and he will continue on with that.
I must have missed that email, sorry.
It's okay. Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Now we have to move on to closed sessions. Closed session for discussion of appraisal of real estate property, PID 16.053.0070, 400 West Dual Boulevard, northeast in Isani, persistent to Minnesota Statute 13D.05 subdivision C. So at this time, I don't have to say anything.